Hailed as one of the most challenging and grueling canoe races in the world, the Consumers Energy AuSable River Canoe Marathon has a history with as many branches as the Northern Michigan River itself. AuSable is about much more than a canoe race. It's the story of how one river can reveal thousands of stories, each one unique, but with the same undercurrent, figuring out how to cross the finish line.
The story of my Uncle Jerry is, and they were practicing for Schwinnigan, him and Boone McNeil. They were doing long portages. They'd come down the river here, go out the mouth of the river, go to Lake Huron. They get to the beach, Oscoda Beach, and then they portage up over the hill, go across 23 and that, and they kept doing laps. They went out in the lake, and it was an offshore wind. The waves picked up tremendously. They got out there, well, they flipped. They were holding on to the boat. It would push them out further into Lake Huron. Jerry got cramps and he let go of the boat and went down.
When Jerry Curley tragically lost his life training for the AuSable River Canoe Marathon in 1953, it had a profound effect on the community of Oscoda.
It impacted the whole town. It was a big thing back then, you know what I mean? But Grandpa held in there. He still did what he, you know what I mean, did best for the canoe marathon. He thought a lot about it.
Terry Curley's grandpa, Harry Curley, had been one of the biggest supporters of the marathon from its start in 1947. His son Jerry had dreamed about becoming a marathon champion from a young age, thanks in part to his dad's passion for the event. In 1951, Jerry entered the race at just 15 years of age. And in 1952, he finished in 8th place, paddling with Frank Smutak. Jerry's tragic passing was the first death associated with the marathon. No one felt the pain of that loss more than Harry, who dedicated the remaining years of his life to preserving the race and fulfilling his son's dream.
Just the being with the family. They definitely would watch it, follow it, come down with it. I would ride with my grandfather. He was very active in it. So yeah, I was just riding around with him to the different races and stuff like that when I was younger. I didn't really have a good understanding about it.
Terry Curley didn't need to have a good understanding about the race at a young age, because in Oscoda, the Curley name is as blue blood as it gets. With his grandpa Harry continuing his work in his son's honor, the Curleys helped the marathon get through some difficult years.
He'd go around town, go to the businesses, try to get money from people to pay for the prizes and everything else. If he didn't collect all the money, well, he'd write a check himself just to make sure everybody got paid and stuff like that.
Harry was one of the biggest pieces the marathon's ever had. He put a lot of effort into keeping the marathon alive in the late 60s and early 70s when it was in a lull. You know, he put a lot of resources and love into the race, and it showed. He organized and he fundraised and he helped with the creation of the Canoers Memorial, and I don't think the marathon would be where it is today without Harry Curley.
The Canoers Memorial was the ultimate tribute to Jerry, and it was officially dedicated in 1968 thanks to so many within the Oscoda paddling community. It strikes an impressive silhouette against the summer skies still to this day, honoring the paddlers and marathon contributors who have passed through the years.
And the first 5 names on it were all, former racers who had recently passed away. It overlooks Cook Pond and in a great scenic spot, and it serves as a reminder of everybody who's braved the AuSable River or dedicated a significant amount of their time to make it flourish and succeed.
For Terry, this marks his first marathon since racing in the 50th anniversary in 1997. While he may be the only Curley committed to being in this year's event, he's not the only family member to contribute to his family's legacy through the years.
There's been so many different members of that family who have raced. Jerry Curley, obviously, Delbert Curley. My first canoe marathon, I raced with Chris Curley.
How I got involved with it was with Kevin Curley. He was my cousin. He was really good. He's the one that show me what was going on with it. A little bit. They wouldn't show you everything.
As for the 75th, Terry understands the importance of having the family name in the race. He will draw inspiration from all the Curleys who have supported the marathon through the years, with the goal of honoring their family name one more time as he crosses the finish line in his hometown.
Got back into paddling probably 6 years ago. I wanted to do the 75th. People will be coming out of the woodwork this year. There'd be a lot of family here. It means a lot to me to represent the Curly name.
Coming out of the 1970s, the marathon really started to hit its stride. The big names of the era continued to elevate the level of paddling on the river, with records being smashed every year. In 1983, Ann Kobolensky and Valerie Fons became the second women's team to compete in the pro ranks. They would go on to place 10th, setting a new women's record in the process. These ultra-competitive years featured a variety of champions, but things really changed when Brett Stockton won his first race with his uncle Butch in 1982. Not only did he tie the record for the youngest champion at 19 years of age, but he would go on to help his uncle become the first competitor to win 5 straight marathons. In 1987, Brett would pair up with Serge Corbin to become one of the most dominant teams of the era. The two would go on to win 5 of the next 6 races, fending off some of the race's next generation of young stars along the way. That long list of competitors trying to knock them off during the late 80s and early 90s included Bruce Barton, who finished in second place on 3 occasions. Now, some 30 years later, Bruce usually finds himself a little further back in the pack, but that has not slowed down his love for racing. Bruce and the rest of the Hog Wild team are now at midsummer form with their training. They won't be slowing down anytime soon. While the Bartons continue to train and race every week, not everything has gone according to plan. After injuring her wrist racing with her daughter Rebecca in last year's marathon, Roxanne had a challenging spring trying to get ready for this year's race and would eventually find out the bad news.
I was supposed to race a marathon with Carrie Montgomery, and I trained with her quite a few times, and it just was not going that great for me. And I had some tests done, and they realized I have severe carpal tunnel in both wrists, so I'm out for the year.
Roxanne missing the 75th marathon was not the only change of plans for the family. Considered the top female heading into the marathon, Rebecca Davis had her sights set on big goals for this year's race. However, the universe had different plans for her and her husband Mike.
I found out in February that I was expecting, so good news, I'm pregnant. I'm like exactly halfway right now. So that's been exciting, makes a big change. I've been feeling great, so I've done almost all of Mike's training with him. We've been together 13 years and we've always both been racing, so now I get to do a little bit of support.
Yeah, well, it actually works out good because Rebecca is never on my feed team, so I got her, and hopefully like when you're getting your pit, you don't have to stop moving at all. And as a racer, she knows exactly where that's at. Yeah, and it's also relieving because I'll be in the race and I won't have to worry about where she's at in the race, you know, which I enjoy doing. I'm always interested in where she's at, but maybe that'll be like a little bit off the mental load in the race.
Mike and his new teammate, Guillaume Blais, who was part of last year's winning marathon team, placed 3rd in the first leg of the Triple Crown this spring. While the two are some of the best paddlers in the world, they've never paddled together until this year, and sometimes there can be a learning curve.
Sometimes you get in the boat with someone and you just know that it's going well, and sometimes you have the speed or something, but it doesn't feel quite, you know, crispy. And then sometimes you feel great and you just don't have the speed too. But I think Guillaume and I feel pretty well all around. Yeah, as for the Clinton, we felt pretty good. Just there's 2 really fast teams there for us to race against. So
Bruce Barton also faced some challenges at the General Clinton as his teammate was injured and they had to drop out of the race. Despite these challenges, the Hog Wild race team understands it's all part of the process.
It's tough to deal with those emotions, but you know, at the end, we're all there together and we're gonna pick each other up. It's kind of one of those things with a race this long, you train all year, but when you get on the starting line, you know, there's nothing I can do now. Like all it is just, you know, just start paddling and do what you can do. And if you're 5th on the day, that's where you were. And if you win, you know, we're able to win, but it just, all you can do is already done, you know, so you do the best with what you have and adapt to the situation.
As for the Ausable, Bruce will now race with Roxanne's teammate Carrie Montgomery, with Roxanne joining on the feed team. With over 40 years of marathon experience between them, they plan on being very competitive in the race.
I used to be up towards the front and you're just racing 1 or 2 other boats. Now when you're in 40th place, there's a lot of boats all around. There's 10 boats right ahead of you, 20 right behind you, so it's really kind of fun to be in that mass. And you know, I've got a lot of experience, so maybe not as fast as I used to be, but maybe I can outmaneuver some of those guys.
Regardless of where Bruce and Mike finish this year, the 75th Marathon will be a special one for Hog Wild Racing. This year has presented many ups and downs. It's only made them stronger and brought them even closer together. Like the challenges on the river, they just keep pushing forward, one stroke at a time, embracing everything that floats their way.
Set the oven here, do it a bake. We'll do about 400 degrees. Nice thing about cooking fish is it goes pretty quick too. I mean, it's not something that you have to cook for hours. I mean, 20 minutes, 15. I like to put a lot of lemon on it just because, I don't know, it's good for you and I like it. This year, you know, just staying on the nutrition like year round is a huge thing. I think last year, really stepping up the ante, nutrition-wise, training-wise, to get myself ready for this year. You know, having an attitude of like not being scared to say that you're gonna do something and do it. Our goal is to win the marathon and it is to set the record.
With such lofty goals, Ryan knows he must pay attention to every detail in his process, from diet, training routines, and even how he prepares mentally. Every detail will be hyper-focused from now on until marathon weekend. Being ready for any and everything will be crucial to the team's success, and it's something they've already found out about during the first leg of the Triple Crown in May.
We did really well considering the circumstances that we faced. Christoph got really sick. He lost his vision at one point, couldn't even see. That's when I thought we were definitely dropping out. But he came back and we ended up working our way back up through the ranks and out sprinting for second place, which I definitely felt pretty confident. Christoph and I are probably one of the fastest boats in a sprint, and who knows, maybe the marathon will come down the sprint.
Building off the positives from the General Clinton, Ryan and Christoph find themselves even more motivated for the 75th Consumers Energy Ausable River Canoe Marathon. Now they'll focus on taking down this year's General Clinton winner and defending Ausable champion Steve Lajoie, who's paired up with Wes Dean this year as the favorites to win the marathon.
2 workouts today. Christoph and I are doing a lot of volume this week and next week, and then we'll start tapering into the marathon. What it takes to win is attention to detail. You know, making sure all the little things that are overlooked are in place. I know Christoph's fitness, where it's at for the marathon, this is where he performs the best, and this is where I perform the best. And the door of opportunity could happen 2 seconds in the race, and we spend the night alone. Just making sure all the small details are taken care of, so then the big opportunities when they're there just happen.
Another important step for Ryan and Christoph will be working to establish their feed team, because the excitement of the 75th anniversary has presented a welcome shakeup and who will be helping down the river.
Normally it would be my brother Rod. My brother decided to make a comeback this year, which is pretty cool because he hasn't paddled, I think, since, I want to say 2009. Ryan Harris will be helping out, his girlfriend will be helping out, Kate, and then I like to keep the feed team pretty small. When it gets too many people involved, it's like anything, it just gets too big and it's just not as efficient, I would say. So I think a small little group that's dialed in can outperform any big group any day.
At the end of the day, it's family, and that matters most for Ryan. Whether it's cheering on his brother in his return to the marathon or raising his little girl Amelia, Nothing means more to him than seeing them happy. And while balancing his passion for paddling and training with raising his daughter isn't always easy, it motivates him to be the best every day so he can make her proud.
She loves going to the races and going out paddling. I mean, we went out this last weekend. She just enjoys it. She loves the interaction of with people. I mean, everybody knows my daughter Amelia. She's kind of a little bit famous in her own little world. My goal this year is to win the marathon in front of my family and my daughter, for sure.
There's some water.
I'll cross it over right after the lily pads. Yep. Yep. It's not any deeper than it used to be.
Every year it's, am I gonna do it again next year? That's your first thought is, oh, I'm gonna do it again next year. You know, oh, that hurt. Did it hurt that bad? Did it not? The last 2 years, me and my daughter have done it. So 2 years ago, we finished 17 hours, 40 minutes. She was 17. Last year we got into it. We had a bad night. We flipped on Camp 10 Pond and swam for 20 minutes and she went hypothermic and we ended up dropping an hour and a half later, just couldn't get her warm. This year, Natalie, my daughter, and Lynn were talking and Lynn mentioned something about, hey, I need a partner. And oh yeah, we were all on board. So it was just kind of a ooh moment, like, paddle with Lynn. All right, I paddled with her, but never paddled with her. So for me, it's a big jump, I guess, you know, gotta hold up my end of the boat now more too.
First few times were more or less, could we get along? Could we communicate what we were doing down the river? And that was evident instantly that yes, we both read the river the same way. We both thought the same. That was a bonus right away. We had to work on trimming the boat. Our weight difference was a little more. And it's kind of nice. Mike comes from a family of paddlers who have way more experience than all of us, right? So that's been bonus. It's good. He knows that. He's aware of that. And together we can do that. We know it won't happen quickly. And our ultimate goal is the marathon.
When you're switching and we're same sides and all that, I don't even notice it.
Okay, that's a good thing.
For somebody like Lynn, it's just, oh, you're paddling Lynn. You know, I hear that a lot, you know, and it's just, yeah, it for doing the 75th with her is phenomenal. You know, this is one of these big milestone races, and to do it with somebody in her caliber, it's awesome.
My dad raced in the first race in 47, and I hope someday that my boys can race in it. Thank you.
A lot of history, a lot of background, a lot of memories. Me of his parents and his dad and family racing, and Mike has grown up as a kid knowing his dad raced. So we're gonna come with a little more, probably in a sense, calmness about it, I think. We pretty well know what we're doing with each other, which is a good feeling, and that was an automatic, which made this very easy.
While becoming teammates may have come automatic for Lynn and Mike, now comes the hard part, learning to work together and dialing in their canoes so they can have success in this year's marathon.
We're really picking up our time in the boat. We're marathon time. This is training. I don't think we've been in the boat less than 3 hours any run we've done. She's paddling a ton with other people. Me and my brother did sprints the other night. So it's all on. Every meal you're concentrating on what am I eating and sleep, and you start getting that circadian rhythm of, oh, I'm gonna be up all night. Okay, you gotta start getting your body ready for that.
This will be Mike's 6th marathon, so he knows how to prepare his mind and body for the challenges ahead. For Lynn, her 42 years of racing down the Ausable allows her to embrace the 75th edition of the race with a certain calmness about her.
It's going to be more of good memories of a lot of people coming back, a lot of people that I knew from Australia, those guys are coming back. So that's a good thing. And for me, yeah, I think I can regulate that level of ups and downs a lot easier because, yes, I've been here and it's a fun experience.
As for what this race will mean for Canoe 54, I think it's safe to say it holds a special place for both.
It's the Tour de France. It's the pinnacle of it. For the one day that you're in the canoe, this is the race. And here I am, 54 years old, and I'm going against guys that are, 20 25 to 35 years old in their absolute peak prime, and not everybody that enters the Boston Marathon's got aspirations of winning it. To me, it's just, you can't replace what this race is. It's a select few that get to cross that line. To do it is where you get the pride from it. To wear that jacket or that shirt that says finisher, you know, is, it's something pretty cool.
At this point, I gotta say, I don't know what it would be like if I didn't race it. It's still fun, I still love it. Probably what my whole life has been built around the last 40 some years.
As the marathon continued to grow in the 90s, so did the media coverage and crowd sizes following the event. In 1992, the marathon officially became part of the Triple Crown of racing, along with the General Clinton and La Classique. Along with that came universal boat specs for all competitors. These changes helped elevate the sport and set the stage for the marathon to become the world-class event we know today. Despite the changes in rules, nothing was slowing down Serge Corbin, as he won 2 more titles in 1993 and 1994 with Solomon Carrier. For paddlers like Bruce Barton, Tim Trebold, Bill Taranjo, and Jeff Kolka, the agony of finishing second for so many years was hard to endure.
Well, I remember in '93, for me, it was one of my best years. I mean, we went all out, and that was the year we set all the records. I come around the corner, and Chad Swan was standing in the river, and I know him and trust him, right? I said, Chad, how are we doing? Oh, you guys are shattering records left and right. Serge and Sal, and they managed to reel us back in before we finished it. But that was a hard lump to swallow because we had it, you know. I mean, I almost had the dang thing, and then you still end up losing it, so it takes a few years.
After 3 straight runner-ups leading into 1996, Jeff would join forces with Serge and put an end to the 32-year winless streak the Kolka family had endured on the AuSable. Once Jeff found that winning formula with Serge, the two would go on to win 9 of the next 10 races, cementing their legacies as 2 of the greatest paddlers to ever take on the AuSable. While Jeff was able to find that winning formula, other incredible racers never managed to get over that hump. Rick Joy competed in the marathon 37 times, and while he never quite found his way to a win, that doesn't diminish his and many others' impact on the race.
Do the race so many times, you know, set some of the records and, you know, put on some performances that people were happy to watch and stuff. Even though you don't always win the race, but you can make an exciting race with numerous boats going down and put on a good show for the crowd anyway.
For Rick and the rest of our legends, there was no lack of performances displayed up and down the river for decades. With so many special moments through the years, it's hard to sum up what all this race means to them.
I never realized people follow the race, the racers themselves. I've learned more about that. You know, people I'll run into and they'll say, you know, we used to drive up there just to watch you guys, you know. That was, to me, kind of neat to know, because as you get older, it's like it was another life.
If you're a canoe racer, you belong to a family, and this is the best race. I don't care what they say. This is the best race.
It's pretty unique, isn't it? What do you think, Frank?
I lost Jerry Curley.
Yeah.
The guy on the thing. And like a brother.
Well, we get different things, you know, like you're saying though, Jerry, that the race,
that's all part of it, you know.
We're a big family. When you get what we have here in Grayling, how it's evolved, and it's gotten better, even better all the time. And generally when you get big, sometimes you have more complications, but it seems like we're doing better. So I'm hoping we can keep doing with the canoe racing community and the big family that we have. Like you said, Jerry, I think you summed it up really well with that. It's a great big family that we have and always will have.
Once Serge and Jeff's incredible run came to an end, that didn't mean the marathon was going to slow down. In fact, it only sped up. The 2000s have continued to showcase world-class athletes, with more incredible teams and champions staking their claim to history. That history includes Jordan Wakely and Matt Mearsman, who set a record time of 13 hours, 54 minutes, and 9 seconds with an incredible performance on some high water on the way to the 2021 championship. Another record that may stand the test of time is Al Whiting Sr. competing up to the age of 89. But you can't talk about the 2000s without starting with Andrew Trebold and Steve Lajoie, who went on to win 11 marathons together between 2004 and 2019. This team was as dominant as any team in the marathon's history. Steve enters the 75th race looking to defend his crown and win a remarkable 13th title. Steve's experience and track record of success make him one of the favorites once again. With the 75th Consumers Energy AuSable River Canoe Marathon quickly approaching, the buzz around the race has never been greater. This year's version will without a doubt go down as one of the biggest spectacles in its history. And while the paddlers are the true heroes of the event, the marathon wouldn't be where it is today without the many volunteers who've helped elevate it through the years.
The AuSable Marathon hooks everybody. All it takes is one time at the start or at a portage at one of the hydro dams. The crowd, the amazing athletes who are in this race. Not everyone can personally see themselves paddling the whole race, but you can imagine what it would be like to do it. And so you can put yourself in their place.
I started as a volunteer in 2001, helping to mow grass. The race has grown leaps and bounds, and the level of competition gets stronger every year, and definitely makes the product on the river more exciting and intense, because the races are a lot closer.
And back in the beginning, this was very much considered a local race. And so opening up to everybody, it drew some criticism, and everybody was like, wait a minute, we don't want all these people here, this is our race. Well, then it turned into, we're the best, we want to beat the best, and so to do that, you got to have the best here.
Consumers Energy and the AuSable River Canoe Marathon both have a long history with the AuSable River Valley. The 6 Consumers Energy hydro dams and the ponds are an integral part of life on the river, and we're working together to create a better AuSable River Canoe Marathon and to introduce the public to the AuSable River Valley, which is just a tremendous resource.
What we're going to see is just a record number of entries, a record number of participants, and there'll be some that are dusting off the paddles for the first time in a while because, it's kind of like an anniversary you don't want to miss. On that Saturday night, there'll be 25 to 30,000 people watching 100 canoes get in that small section of the river.
This is one of the most fantastic sporting events a person could get closely acquainted with. Men, women, people of all ages, and thousands of fans. The 75th AuSable River Canoe Marathon is going to be the best yet, and I can't wait to be there.